think like for me, like in the space of 12 months, we've basically gone from being in a position where it's like, can this actually even sustain itself or like be viable? And I should maybe even go and get a job whilst I do this. Or literally, because of this system, the business is at a point where I'm thinking about how can we set it up so in 3 to 5 years time I can sell this thing. So I was in the mindset of Facebook isn't working, Facebook doesn't work anymore, iOS 14 killed Facebook. Exactly. So it kind of hit a point in October, November time when I realized, shit, I need to make a change as soon as possible. Otherwise we could go under within 12 months of launch. So things very quickly got off the rails from when we had started. This was like January 2021, just to give some timeline to it. And then now we're talking like September 2021. So in 9 months, we built up to like 200K a month pretty much in May. But then things quickly dropped off. And then bringing in the agency just expedited that process because we were doing stuff badly on Facebook and all they did was, expedite that process.
Yeah.
They came in, launched 10 more campaigns, 100 ad sets full of interest groups, just targeting every single interest group you can imagine. No creative strategy whatsoever. Basically copying and pasting the ads that I already had and just running it towards interest groups, despite being promised, making new ads and stuff. And I charged 7.5K a month for that service. So I decided to cut ties with the agency, stripped everything back, so pulled away from all the advertising channels and just basically reassessed our situation.
Like, this is over with, this thing's done, and like maybe I need to do something else, like this business, like I caught it, that's great, maybe I can figure out another business that hopefully will work, but I got all this inventory, X, Y, and Z, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that's what it was. And for me in that situation, I had a decent amount of inventory, and I decided, okay, Facebook's not the one. So I decided to move over to TikTok, and I kind of made it work for 3 or 4 months, doing the same stuff, interest-based targeting on TikTok. And we kind of got to a decent level again where the business was making enough money to kind of sustain itself and make it a worthwhile venture. And that kind of brings us into like February, March 2022, where we decided, all right, TikTok's doing well, let's give this Facebook thing another crack. And at that point came back in and tried to copy what was doing well on TikTok, which was multiple campaigns, dozens of interest groups, and not very many ads and not much creative strategy at all. So in essence, doing what we were doing when things went really badly in September, but naivety and all, and it just didn't work. Then I kind of it must have been like a stroke of, it must have just been pure luck. But I think you had like it wasn't even, I think it was under 100 subscribers at that point. Your main one, your Charlie T. And I came across it and started consuming the content, and I really, really liked your methodology. Less stress, more success.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully not more stress. I mean, maybe at this point a little bit, but I kind of got a glimpse into what you were doing. I had to kind of piece it together for myself, obviously, because it's just the YouTube and your whole one campaign, 322 DCTs. And I said to myself, okay, things are going very badly right now, doing this complex system. Let's sit down, look at the numbers, and then come back with something that's an acceptable CPA for us on Facebook, and then try and install this method. And within like the first few DCTs, I kind of came across a few bangers. And obviously from the call the other day, you saw inside of the ad account, April 2022 is one of the ads, one of the longest serving ads has been running to this day. It's still running, that first one.
Over a year.
18 months in, yeah.
That's amazing.
But that, just seeing that happen, it just blew my mind. Like, obviously where I was like, audience targeting is everything. That was my previous mindset. I was like, no interests, no party sort of thing. But seeing that running abroad, getting a considerable amount of conversions within its first few days really of running and just tearing away with spend, it kind of gave me instant belief in obviously you as a person and your teaching. I suppose for anyone it would.
Sure.
Had that have not worked, I dread to think where we may be now. But luck was on our side, and it did. And from there, it kind of transitioned on, more DCTs, more success, until I kind of got to a point where I had the one campaign structure set up. You know, I had my 322, I had my DC, you know, my 2 DCTs, you know, I had my sticky note with the 2 DCTs and my one improving.
Like one of these.
That's it. I pieced that together from the YouTube.
Nice.
But we kind of hit a point where the proving ground was just going away with spend, and nothing I could produce could deliver results. And this is now like June 2022, where, you know, naturally you start to see stuff drop off.
Yeah.
You know, that 6-week period that you talk about, which we've hopefully, as you said in your email this morning, just got out the back of, because we could really do with it right now. Yeah, we were kind of in that period, and again, I was starting to have some, like, not complacency, but just, you know, just not really being too sure with what to do next. And
sure, a lack of confidence in the direction, because I love the fact that just doing the free stuff got you from, I might not be able to do this, to, oh my God, this is great. What else can I do to even take more advantage of it? Like, that's phenomenal. It makes me just so happy.
The free stuff got us back to 6 figures, basically what we were doing the previous year, when stuff was like 10x ROAS, which I think says a lot, actually. We were at 10x ROAS at that point, because that's what the number that we cared about. But then we switched to, obviously, the CPA model and the PS. At that point, I suppose I didn't know it was PSM, but I kind of actually was working. And then doing that got us back to that same revenue. But yeah, like you said, I kind of hit a point of diminishing returns. I really liked you as a person, just all your content on YouTube, and decided, yeah, let me kind of search this guy up, see what more he has to offer. You know, at that point, I wanted to speak to you one-on-one, not knowing that you had the MBA program. And I think, you know, you and I sat down in I think July time, had a chat about the MBA, and yeah, I had like 100% confidence that it was going to work. It was just a matter of time. So obviously we went ahead with it, sat down for a week or two, consuming all of the MBA content, which is just, again, what is inside of the YouTube is completely different to what is inside of the MBA. What is in the MBA kind of gives you the answer that you've been looking for with the YouTube, and it certainly did with me. You know, I don't know how far you want me to go into it in terms of,
you can do whatever you want. Like, talk about whatever worked for you. I have nothing to hide. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I do all of this stuff. Inside the MBA, it's a watch as I'm giving you all the SOPs, the frameworks, the documentation, going from 0 to full. And there's hours of lecture and discussion, and even, like, there's no way to make that an engaging YouTube video that would get any views.
It would be impossible to have that, to even post that on YouTube, let alone make it worthwhile for you for it to get views. But anyway, you know, besides that, I think when I first came in, I just decided, let's just sit down and watch all of the lectures and watch all of the content first before I take action. Immediately, I knew that ecosystem ROAS was going to be extremely valuable based on my kind of scratching the surface of PSM. So yeah, I suppose within my first few weeks of the MBA, I knew it was going to be successful. Like I said, it's just a matter of time. And once I kind of had the systems, the processes, you know, ecosystem ROAS, Scrum Doc, all that type of stuff implemented, that's when we were kind of just like ready to kind of, okay, let's just take this thing and just take it to the next level, because we had confidence in what we were doing at that point. I've got to say as well, you know, Golden Bear was definitely another moment. It was Golden Bear was like the moment that I had when I discovered 322.
Gotcha. That just like, oh my God, like you just leveled up.
Yeah, it was exactly that. You know, with 322, I was like, so I've been doing post IDs when I could have just done this and let Facebook find the winner for me.
Yeah.
And wasting money that way. But then Golden Bear was like, I've been running DCTs without even, you know, verifying that the assets inside of it are at all useful for Facebook's business.
Yeah, like, you're still kind of hoping to get lucky on your decisions with DCTs building from scratch. And now Golden Bear just like, oh, I can try 1,000 ideas. Oh, these 5 work? Great. I'll just go make money. Like, that's it. I find it to be like a little bit humorous almost when looking back at like how hard I worked
Yeah.
building all of this stuff before I had it all developed and figured it all out. Just like, and I see people all the time and just like how hard they're working on things to try to replicate getting lucky. And like we had the lecture like last week, it's not about getting lucky. It's not about finding the one ad that's going to help you spend $1 million. It's about building the system that manufactures the ads that can spend $1 million over and over and over again. And like that DCT and Control Ground, the one campaign is the factory that does it. And then when you get Golden Bear, your hit rate is just like, it makes me feel so happy to see all the confidence that people get out of it and the smile when you're talking about it. It's just like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
it's great.
Because you can see it's worked. Like it just makes so much sense to run Golden Bear. And obviously, you know, without being in the MBA program, I would have never known about it. So yeah, there's that. But being able to run stuff for so cheap, and then, you know, verifying, okay, how many clicks does it get? What's the estimated action rate? If you'd asked me the year, you know, even a few months before I joined the MBA program, what estimated action rate is, I would have said, well, what the fuck is that? And
Right.
I would, at that point, I would do 100K into Facebook ads, and to not know what estimated action rate to me just seems just so stupid. Because yeah, I think it's quite easy to chase your tail without having Golden Bear in place, because at least when you have Golden Bear, at least you've got some type of structure as to what you're testing. Whereas I've actually seen like a few people taking your 3-2-2 method, but they're teaching it in a horrible way. Like obviously you can block this out, but I was watching a few Nick Ferrio videos.
Okay, sure. Yeah, and I won't block it. Like I see it too. I like this last week, I saw like it posted in 5 different places, and I saw some like other really well-regarded folks that know me that have blocked me after personal conversations. Like, I don't even know who that is. This is a crazy idea. See how it works. Like, so 100%. Like, you know, I think people are trying because they didn't go through the MBA, so they don't fully understand it. They're not even in disruptor schools, so they haven't had that hands-on approach. And so they're like, well, I've seen the videos. This is how it's working for me. And it's like, okay, it's better, but it's not quite where close to what they could be seeing.
You're still missing the other, you know, the yin to the yang.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work without, one doesn't work without the other. But yeah, anyway, in his videos, he's just like saying, okay, we're going to launch X amount of DCCs per week. And it's just, but again, I was just thinking, but you're still guessing.
Yeah, I see so many people that still, and I still see it to this day, people are like, well, the path is just like, all right, new ads do better than old ones. Okay. And new pockets of audiences like are bringing me new customers. So what I need to do is launch as many ads as possible to reach as many pockets of customers to try to get as many wins as I can. And like, they're not realizing that, like, so you're building your entire business off of things that last for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days in a way that makes everything that happens after the click almost impossible to improve. When you say it out loud, I can't find anybody that defends the idea of like, the way to have consistency and projectable results to reliably predict outcomes and scale your business is to make the front end completely unstable and unpredictable.
Yeah, like, it's stupid. Why would you not want that? So I mean,